stream is started.
And all right, looks like
we're live.
Yep, looks like we are good to go. We're back.
It's been a while.
Hello. Hi. My goodness. It's been I think the last time we were here, was it October? Was it October the last time we were here?
Oh, come on. It was at least November.
Now I probably should have looked this up before we got online. Curiosity has killed the cat and killed the introduction to this. I just said streamed 1 month ago.
Okay, yeah. Let's
anyway,
go with early November.
Early November.
Yeah.
Most likely early November. Oh yeah, we have to have done something early November because we talked about the we have Pixel. To talk about the
the
Google Pixel and the M1 Pro. Yeah. We haven't done anything after that, but
and we're back to talking about the M1 Pro.
Yes, after almost an entire month and a myriad of tech things that could have gone on, we have more to talk about the M1 Pro. And in particular, I have actually, I have a little bit extra to chip into the M1 MacBook conversation because I am now the proud owner of a 14-inch MacBook Pro rocking the M1 Pro. I think it's the mid-tier spec. The I think, was it 10 core CPU, 16 core GPU? I might have mixed that up. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, it's got a terabyte of storage, and 16 gigs of RAM. So it's not. I'm not. I haven't maxed out my experience with the M1, but I'm in a very comfortable pro. I'm in a very comfortable pro spot, I guess, with it. So yeah.
That sounds good. So what's your general thoughts of it?
All right. So all in all, just to give a quick bit of background, I have not had any experience with. I've had very, very, very little experience with Mac OS in general prior to this. The closest I've ever done to it is that back in high school, there was a digital storytelling, video editing kind of class that used the only 10 MacBooks in the entire campus as the to video edit and stuff like that. So that's primarily been my main experience. I've never had home use for it. I've never really dug through and tried to look for files and stuff like that. So not sure what's related specifically to the MacBook Pro and what's new experiences with Mac OS in general. So take it as both a guide of my experience with MacBook Pro as well as my experiences with a Mac from a person who's used Windows much more extensively and surprisingly Linux in the form of Manjaro more expressingly. But should I start out with what I liked about it or what I find?
Let's go with likes, and then we'll go into, we'll
smooth transition into the. I will preface. These are. What I have for dislikes is less on something that I like. I cannot stand this kind of thing, but stuff that I've had to get used to initially. That's for later.
I'm sure that there's at least one thing that has caused you pain.
Oh yes.
I've yet to find a laptop that has not at least had one thing that's borderline deal breaker.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we will get into my gripes of the MacBook Pro in a moment. But first, let's start on the positive note. What were the good things that came out of this MacBook Pro? So first and foremost, one of the main reasons why I decided to go with the MacBook Pro is, well, for one, we've had a pretty good hype session prior to that, so the keynote as well as the discussion of the keynote pretty much sold me on that one. Plus, I am looking to travel a little bit more in the near future, and right before or shortly after the stream, I did have to do a little bit of house sitting for one of my family members. So I figured if I could get my hands on MacBook Pro as soon as possible, one thing I really want out of it is I do want to be able to, like edit down like all like the highlights from like these kind of streams, or like edit down my own ones for our other sister channel, Voyaging Trainer. I want to be able to, not have to rely on actually being at home stuck in this little corner to get all my video editing done. I want to be able to take that. And I figured stream editing is, I guess, lighted. Well, the video itself is always going to be in the hours, but like the actual like needs to like cuts and like any like fancy transitions stuff like that is usually fairly. It can be done very simply, I guess. So like if I just need to like cut out some dead space. So ultimately that's kind of what I was looking for, just a nice portable machine that I can use to get my video editing done wherever I can find a space to get video editing done. And I will say that this machine definitely delivers on that end. I have one thing, so I'm not using Final Cut just yet. I do want to give it a try one day. Maybe purchase that later down the road. I think was it you use Final Cut fairly
I used
extensively.
Final Cut for a bit. I've found that DaVinci Resolve has gotten up to the point where I don't care about Final Cut anymore.
Okay, so
Because
we
when it
can.
comes down to it, the only thing that Final Cut does better is the actual timeline. This might
Okay,
sound weird, but the DaVinci Resolve's color correction is industry standard.
oh
Adobe
yeah,
cannot beat that. That's just how good the color correction is. When
yeah,
it comes to their effects processing, it gets close. It beats Apple's offerings of Fusion. It gets close to After Effects, although it doesn't quite beat it.
yeah.
But
I guess
I
at the
mean,
very least, it's good enough. I'm assuming decent.
it's a lot more than good enough. It's just not the best. Well,
It's just not
I
After
mean not the
Effects.
best in the best possible way.
Oh yeah. You can't,
So
we can't faithfully say it's number one, but you're not gonna have a miserable time using it. You're not gonna
yeah.
desperately miss After Effects unless there's something specific in After Effects that you need.
Although I do believe that DaVinci Resolve's version is actually really good. It takes nodes, which is pretty much like just bits and pieces of it, so it breaks apart the process a lot better than After Effects. The thing is, it's just it doesn't have as many features. So I believe that the workflow of Fusion in DaVinci Resolve is better. It just isn't as feature packed as
Yeah.
After Effects is.
So it could really just boil down to like a time will tell. Like it just needs to add more stuff to it, and we could be looking at a very promising, um, or are looking at, I'm assuming, a fairly promising After Effects competitor. It's just we just need more stuff in it.
Okay, and lastly, audio. Apple makes one of the best audio softwares in the industry. It's called Logic Pro 10, not Final Cut.
Yes.
Final Cut, on the other hand, is one of the worst audio tools I have ever used in my entire life.
The duality of audio that is in the Apple software.
And the worst thing about this is that you know how Adobe has their dynamic link where you could pretty much like press something and then it just opens up the file in another Adobe program just like that with one
Oh yeah.
click. Oh, Apple, you need to learn. You need to learn a lot. You could learn from
Oh yeah.
Adobe. You know, Apple being the king of integration, you'd think that they'd have a better method than exporting um your file and then moving it over manually.
Having to go through the whole workaround of exporting into a file and then importing it all the way back in. It's just,
I mean, it doesn't make it difficult, like overly difficult, so it's doable. They just don't make
it's
it
just,
easy.
it's just painful to know that there's a better way. There's
And
better
then
ways to do this.
here's an aspect of DaVinci Resolve where you don't even need a dynamic link. It's in the program. You don't need to wait the 10 to 15 seconds of Adobe doing its thing loading the program.
It's just there.
It's just
It
there.
just has it. You're good to go. Have fun.
And
That's fair
honestly,
enough.
when it comes to Resolve, it's its audio processing software is good enough. It's pretty decent. Oh, I see my what happened to my internet? Huh. You can still hear me
Oh,
fine, right?
you got a little. You're dipping a little bit in quality throughout. I
Uh
think Apple's catching on tonight.
possibly, who knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm seeing my stream health be a bit wonky right now.
No, yeah. I can hear it and I can feel it.
It's going back up again. I'm also
Oh,
dying here. Okay,
I see they got
both of us here are dying. Both my computer and I.
it started with the computer. Now they're going just straight for you.
Most definitely.
Oh
Okay,
man.
so looks like my stream has recovered. Um,
Hey.
but yeah, it's so convenient. Everything is there, and it genuinely makes it easier on
Mm,
everyone. So
nah.
yeah, that's why I choose DaVinci as my tool of
DaVinci
choice.
Resolve.
Oh, and their plugins are okay.
Okay.
I mean, their audio plugins are okay. They're good starter ones. I've seen
Yeah.
better, but quite frankly, just like with Logic, it's the plugin. Logic has a lot more plugins, but when it comes to actual voices, it's I'd say that's about on par. Audio people would know when I say this that Blackmagic has a few emulations like SSLs and Neve emulations. It's not called that. It's called Fire and Ice and Air, but it's there. It's there.
I can
I
channel your
didn't
inner
know what
avatar
those.
with these plugins.
I didn't know. Oh no, it's Fire, Ice, Air, and Earth. I don't know what the other ones are emulations of. I know that there's a Neve. I know that there's a Focusrite. I know that there is a SSL. I don't remember what the last one is. So they're all emulations. So it's some good stuff. They have some good
Yeah.
stuff. It has multi-band compression. It has regular compressors. It has exciters. It has everything that you could possibly need for voiceover stuff. But if that's not enough for you, it also has both AU and VST support, so that you could go to Waves and buy your own plugins, which
Hey.
every component. Okay, I'm not a fan of Waves. That's my personal preference. UAD. That's all I have to say. UAD.
uh
But their stuff is
Sorry, this
darn
particular
expensive.
part of the conversation has gone over my head.
Oh,
But
Universal Audio. That's
oh,
That's basically, it's a company. It's a really good audio interface company that makes plugins.
No, yeah.
Except they're also the most expensive in the industry.
Uh,
But there's some legit plugins
yeah.
that
Bang for your
require
buck.
special hardware to run.
Oh, can feel my wallet emptying as we speak.
So basically, you're already buying like a $800 interface that you know has that
uh,
special hardware inside,
no, yeah.
and then you need to buy like $400 plugins.
Uh, I see. Oh shoot.
Okay,
Yeah, I know the
moving
price is
on.
killing me too.
Moving
But
on.
yeah. Moving back to uh, yeah, going back into the MacBook real quick. So both Teresa and myself have been running off of the. I I believe we're still using the studio the
Yeah.
the the paid version of DaVinci Resolve. The problem in regards to my MacBook is that the studio version only allows it's only two, right? Only two
Yes.
computers
Two
can
computers.
be active at one time. And I'm not looking to retire my dream machine anytime soon. That being said, we were running into technical difficulties earlier, so it may be retiring on me regardless. That's that's to discover for later. For now, so basically, I didn't want to kick either my own machine, my Windows machine, or Harrison off of my Studio One, and I'd rather not buy the thing again just to test the thing. So the MacBook is currently running off of the free version of DaVinci Resolve. That being said, with at least in terms of like scrubbing through, making highlights, or even like I've even able to compile an entire like slightly trimmed up I think it was a Pokemon Go, like Go Battle League stream. That was roughly about 2 hours. Usually on the Dream Machine, I'd say it renders in about maybe like maybe like 14, 15 minutes. And the big plus side, MacBook Pro was able to do it 14 to 15 minutes for a 2 hour stream with slight cuts in it. And I'm very, very happy about it that I don't have to sit in a random spot waiting for it to render. And I don't know why I decide to render it while I'm still out and about, but
Can I say
decided just
something?
anyway. Yes,
Skyward Sword, 10 minutes
ten minutes.
with a
Oh
whole
yeah,
ton of cuts, taking out almost an hour of content from your video.
oh yeah. So yeah, I think on the plus side, we know that even with heavy cuts, I guess stream renders very
It's
render
good.
easy. I
It's very
guess
good.
this is nice, but it's good to know that because I know we have noticed also that when we were using the free version of DaVinci, well, we haven't been doing
Okay,
highlight
so
kind of stuff, but
about that, on the Mac version of the free version of DaVinci, uses GPU acceleration.
okay,
Windows version does not.
I see.
I don't know why they made that difference, but they did.
I'm happy they did because that means I don't need to get myself another license to get GPU acceleration on my Mac. It's already in the free one. So that's good to know, actually. That's very good to know. And it's also good to know that the MacBook Pro itself is able to, is at least for stream quick edits, performs roughly similarly to, okay, well, now it's a dying desktop, but it's performing comparable to my lovely little dream machine. So that's been lovely. Also, I think it's the first time I've ever actually edited with a trackpad. I don't know if this translates into editing on a Windows computer with a trackpad, but I do like being able to fluidly horizontally scroll through the timeline. I might be missing a way to do that. Like, there's probably an easy way to do it, maybe like the mouse wheel or something inside of DaVinci Resolve with the mouse that I'm
It's
just
called holding
never
the
bothered
shift
to
key.
use. I'd rather not. But that's an extra button, and I don't want to use.
Oh, that just
Yeah,
works for me because I always have my hand on the keyboard anyway. Keyboard
that is
shortcuts.
true. Yeah, keyboard shortcuts. Without a doubt, it's always good to learn the keyboard shortcuts. Side note, I need to learn how to. Is there an easier way to ripple delete in DaVinci Resolve? You know, like if you're trying to get rid of everything and just kind of like snap together everything. Because I know on Windows it's just I
The
think
delete key.
delete itself. Yeah, and then backspace is just to get rid of the thing. But when I
There's
use
not
the delete
a
key on the MacBook, it just deletes the
try it.
thing. And
Maybe like a shift delete. That sounds like something that might be.
yeah, so right now I've just been doing right click, or I guess in touchpad terms, double finger press, and then riffle deleting. But yeah, I kind of wanted to see if there's. I gotta look into if there's a shortcut keyboard thing to do that. But
Uh,
in any event, so that's been one of my biggest pluses. I'm very happy that it's able to do exactly what I wanted it to do. I do want to test it out with some of the more heavier edits in the forms of like I know I tend to put in a lot of video footage in one time when I do like the Pokemon Go like vlog or recap content. So I want to play around with that a little bit, see how it handles. But I'm assuming I'm probably gonna look at something fairly similar that I'd have with my Dream Machine if at the very least render shows me anything. Um yeah. Otherwise, um the track the speaking on the trackpad is very nice. It's very large. It feels very great. I think that's been a given, but it is the first time I've ever properly used it, so I
yeah.
enjoy it. I enjoy the speakers on the Mac as well. Solid stuff. Um, One thing that's I've come to like a lot more, I guess, because I've been a little bit finicky on it, is I'm finally able to. Um, oh, I'm finally getting used to the idea of my devices actually being able to seamlessly connect with each other in various ways. One particular way that's been an absolute lifesaver is that AirDrop is a proper thing for me now. So
Uh,
basically, I'm sorry.
so you learn how to use AirDrop these days.
Yes. And you know what's absolutely upsetting about me learning that AirDrop is a proper thing is
What?
that after I've learned how to properly use AirDrop between my MacBook and my phone, I now come to the realization that AirDrop's a thing between my phone and my iPad, which I've had for about an
How did
extra
you
year
not
now.
notice that before?
I don't know. I've never bothered to put the two together. And I'm like, well, shoot.
You
This
know what's
saves me
also a
time.
thing? If we're ever in person again, you could literally hand me files.
I know. I think we've even done that once in a Starbucks pre pre COVID. We've done this pre COVID. I swear we did not just meet up in a random Starbucks and share files. Anyway, but yeah,
Yes,
um,
that's our normal thing. We just go to the Starbucks. Just we don't even go in. We just stay
yeah, we just
outside.
stand outside, wear our jackets. We're just standing out. We check if the coast is clear. You're like, you got the goods? Oh yeah, I got the. Totally not suspicious. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, but yeah, AirDrop is a thing now.
Yeah.
It saves my life so much more, especially when I need to transfer over 400 something small video files from my phone to the computer to eventually edit sometime in 2023. I don't know. But yeah, it did fail on me once the first time I've tried to do like a large 400 something transfer, but I just hit redo and it went fine. I think I think my phone and my laptop were still trying to like I guess like feel the waters and just like, oh, we can communicate to each other. Okay, cool. Here's 400 files. First go around and just like, oh, I wasn't ready to. I just chucked them both into the deep end. And anyway, um, and otherwise, other seamless connection that's really nice is was it? I can now witness like the AirPods Pro transferring from one
Yeah,
device to the other.
that's always been pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a little bit finicky, I guess. Again, like I guess device learning curves and whatnot in the beginning, because
Honestly, I
was
can
it?
never figure out what's the trigger to get them to move.
No, yeah, I yeah, especially if I have like what was it? Yeah, like both devices like on, I just like plug it in. It's just I'll see where it goes. I'm
Yeah,
assuming I think it always connects to the phone first because that's what it the AirPods is familiar with the phone. It's partnered with it for so long, and now here comes this third party MacBook out of bloody nowhere, and it's just like,
but honestly, when I normally use my AirPods, it was normally just be if I have a back, I just go into Bluetooth like at the top and press it. That's
oh
just
yeah,
a
it's
surefire way of making sure it works, but that's still
oh
a
yeah,
much better solution than any other headphones I've ever had.
that is true. It is nice to know that. Yeah, if it doesn't connect automatically, you just open the thing at the top, just Bluetooth, and you're just like, oh, AirPods Pro doesn't show it's connected. Click it, connected.
Don't you
Boom.
just hate like other earphones that just don't want to leave the other device?
Yeah, they're very clingy. Like, no, but you told me to connect to the MacBook. Yeah, but now I want to listen to something on my phone. But you said connect to the MacBook. Yeah, but now I'm saying connect to the phone.
And it doesn't
Listen.
realize it until you turn off Bluetooth on that device.
No, yeah. I actually had that particular experience recently because one other device that I've purchased recently over Black Friday is I got me a pair Sony headphones. I got,
Oh, the
forgive me
model
if I,
number
oh yes, prepare yourself. The thing that pains me is I can't remember. I think it's the W. I think H's no H's. There's WF and WH, and
F is
they showed a
earphones.
okay. F is earphones. H is the over ear, yeah,
Should be.
headphones. Yeah, I believe the WH 1000 MX4. Yes, I got me new headphones.
Nice. So you know exactly what I'm talking about now.
Yes, Ember. Because I know what we're talking about now because I wanted to like show off the headphones and like the noise canceling and like sound and stuff to my sister when she was listening to it. But as we were trying to like play through it, it kept like cutting it out and we're like, oh, I think it's trying to connect to something else. And like I think my laptop is asleep, but it's still on, so I think it's still trying to
Yeah. That's the
communicate
thing
with
about
that.
MacBooks I notice. It never turns off the Bluetooth receiver.
No, yeah. That's another speaking of sleep, though, for the MacBook Pro, another big plus that I've somehow forgotten about. I guess it's a good thing I forgot about is that I maybe it's just my like general paranoia when it came to previous laptops that just caused me to like full on shut it down like every single time, and then I never trust sleep. I trust sleep a lot with this.
Really? Because every laptop I've used, Windows, generally goes to hibernate after about 4 or 5 hours.
No, yeah, I think. Well, yeah, the only time I think I've ever actually counted on like hibernate or sleep is when I actually when I myself hibernate or sleep, so my computer's just still on, and then it needs to like power off. Um, but yeah, I've been able to go like. Granted, I don't use this computer all too often, so it's like so I'm not like saying like, oh, I use this computer every day, and then just like slap the thing closed, put it in my bag, open it again, and I go on for like weeks on end. I maybe use it like 2 or 3 times throughout the day, or 2 or 3 times throughout the week, but I feel like I'm safely able to like do like maybe like an hour or two of work one day, shut it, put it in my bag, bring it out like a couple days later, hour or two of work, shut it, right? And I'm able to like do that comfortably until maybe like close to like the end of the week, I guess. So I don't know. I'm pretty happy about it.
That's good.
It's probably something that's a general laptop thing. Just been paranoid for like no good reason. Like I think we're still in like the 90s or something when it comes to battery technology. But
So, how did you get over your fear?
oh, I literally just took I think the first two times I like actually like properly shut it down. It's like, you know what? I hear this thing has like great battery life to it. Let's just talk. Close the lid, put it in a sleeve, throw it in my bag, see how it goes. Then I open up the next day. It's fairly similar battery life. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. I don't have to worry about it. I'm probably only gonna have to worry about it if I leave it just sitting in sleep mode for like months on end. To which
Well,
case I feel like there's an extra problem there. But
yeah.
so yeah, battery life has been very promising. So the good news is I'm probably still gonna want to fully charge it before I get into like a plane and stuff like that. If I want to fully, if for some reason I get the motivation to fully edit throughout an entire flight, which I
You're not
doubt,
going to
but
do that.
I had
I
yeah.
can attest to that. You're not going to do that. I edited for like 2 hours and I'm like, I'm done. I hear the
I can't
plane. I
I
can't
can't do this
audio edit
anymore.
this thing.
No, yeah, that's gonna be a rough one, but we'll give it a try. But yeah. But at the very least, I know for sure that the battery will more than handle. Um, and plus, if I do it for 2 hours, like going and coming, then I might not even need to whip out the. I'm probably still good to bring the charger with me anyway, just in case. But
And I don't think
I
that's
should
as
be able to.
important anymore because planes do have outlets usually these days.
That's true. So, on the plus side, if I do need to charge, the plane can provide. But I have faith that I should be able to last both coming and going.
So
Um,
this is a terrible
which is
question, but what if every single person on the plane is charging? Will that stop a plane?
that's that is a fair question. Um, that's good. I don't. That is actually a fair question. I don't know. I don't know how much they've equipped like how much load they've equipped it before the thing decides to like, yep, no, we're taking too much electricity, just shut it all down kind of business.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's like
Because
if
I
like our
doubt that they
outlets.
would spec the power system to for every single plug to have its max amperage come out of it.
No, yeah,
So if every single person found something that's literally right on the edge of what's allowed.
no, yeah. If everyone decided to connect that exact power adapter, exact same like, and use it throughout the entire flight, like what problems would come from that? I I'm I'm in the hopes that whatever problems befall that part of the electric system does not befall upon the critical parts of the plane. I'm
Yeah,
hoping there's some
hopefully it's
foresight.
just like a breaker and then it just like pops or something like that.
Yeah, that's the hope, but your guess is as good as mine, and I'm not looking to test that anytime
I don't
soon.
want it either.
Uh, but yeah, it's
On the bright side, with
important.
COVID, you can't really test that because there's not enough people on the plane.
That is true. If we had enough people on the plane, I feel like we have an entirely different issue to deal. My paranoia would not would not allow me to survive the first minute of that flight. I'll tell you that. In any event, Uh, yeah, existential playing questions. um, is there anything? Uh, the keyboard took a little bit of because I've been using a lot of deep keys recently, both at home and at my work now. They have a very fairly like deep travel to the keys, so um, it did take a little bit getting used to the fact that I try to like give it the same deep press, and now my finger just hurts because I'm practically like hitting the desk. But I've gotten used to it. It is a nice feel. I do like the shell. I feel like I'm able to travel so much more easily without having to like dig out of this little cave that I've dug myself with these like deeper key like mechanical keys. But and otherwise, um, I mean, I got myself the 14-inch, and uh, for the screen real estate, the screen itself is really really lovely. Um, of course, this is a 14-inch. I'm sitting there always telling myself like, man, I wish I had a little bit more screen real estate, but then I'd be lugging around a 16-inch computer or even bigger, and I don't want to do that. So I'm
No one
like,
wants to do
this is
that.
the this is the trade off that I was expecting, and yeah, I'm still here. I still am just like, I wish I had a little bit, but otherwise, I mean, the screen real estate already is really nice. And yeah, refresh rate's looking real good. Color screen's real good, and sitting outside in like afternoon, evening, it. I'm assuming most screens handle afternoon, evening pretty well, but that one handles exceptionally well.
Good.
And despite the ever, um, despite the ever presence of notch up top, I honestly have not really paid it too much mind. I think the only time it ever really like stands out is of course like whenever my background's a little bit on the lighter side and the bar up top is lighter than my wallpaper is when it kind of stands out. But especially during like the occasional times where I've watched like YouTube videos and stuff like that, usually the 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 top and bottom are kind
Yeah.
of like blacked out anyway to match the thing. So it's yeah, that hasn't been an issue. And I know one thing. Of course, the very first thing that I will now use to test any screen that comes across is I like to see how well the monitor is able to display a 4K or even like Linus's 8K like fireplace for whatever reason. So I tested that in the MacBook store, like put it on full screen and just like let it go. Like I think I just picked a 4K one, crisp. So there you go. Your homework for today. Head out to a MacBook store, just turn all the MacBook Pros into YouTube and just put a 4K fireplace on it.
Oh my gosh. Remember when
Trust me,
people
in
used
the
to do
future.
pranks like that?
No, yeah. People did it for the lulz. I do it for research and the lulz. And it's cozy. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that uh yeah, that pretty much sums up all the best points I've had with the MacBook Pro. Um, oh, one other extra interesting thing that I've tested for all of a couple seconds because I didn't have a mouse with me when I tested it is I did. I know, I know, gaming and MacBook do not cross. I have especially experienced that very well when I'm able to install Steam, but every single game tells me I cannot install it anyway.
Well, even the games that you
But
can install don't always work because if it's 32-bit,
no, yeah.
you still can't play it.
But one thing that ran surprisingly well. Well, one game I was actually able to manage to download that at first started running really, really like 2 frames per second at first, and I was like, oh shoot, is this really not? Is this power really not going to translate to the game? But afterwards, I was actually able to run really, really smoothly. I got Minecraft to work on it.
Wow. I don't I don't know why I was expecting something else, but
Yes, I doubt the very first game I ever bothered to like test on the thing was Minecraft, full on Java edition. It works. I haven't like played a full on game of it because when I did test it, I didn't have a mouse with me, and I'm like, well, the frame rate and like looking around everything is great, and like the world loading is great, but I'm moving around with a trackpad, and that turning field is just not translate well. So, oh, another thing that I have regretfully tried was uh some uh some Xbox cloud gaming.
yeah, in Hawaii it's not good.
Yeah, it's rough. I will say, because I was like, huh, I don't really have a way to. Like, this was back when we were still running through the Halo 4 campaign. I was like, and I was house sitting at the time, so I'm like, huh, I could like you know bring my Xbox, but that feels like a large commitment to something that I'm only staying a couple of days over. So I'm like, is there any way I could do this on this on this Mac? Like I know it's definitely not gonna be favorable, but can I at least make is it at least tolerable? So I loaded up Safari. I got into the Xbox beta cloud gaming, and for a moment, it felt kind of surreal, like being able to say like, oh shoot, I'm playing Halo 4 off my Mac. I will say, like, was it graphics wise, it helped very nicely. I think like shooting and like grenade costs and stuff like that worked out nicely. The thing that absolutely killed it is that there is practically a 1 second delay from whenever I need to turn.
Well, I mean,
And
we do
that
live in the middle of the ocean.
that is true. So maybe maybe if I ever end up on the mainland, maybe I can do this test again to see if latency can recover and I can properly say I am playing Halo 4 or maybe even Halo Infinite. I don't know if Halo Infinite's gonna go on
It
cloud gaming.
probably would
Possibly. Yeah,
because they're
I don't see
running
why not.
Series X architecture up in the cloud.
Hmm. Okay, so it could be possible. Sometime in a mainland future with probably like internet like hooked in through I don't know like USB-C or something, I could I could officially say I am battling people in Halo Infinite through my MacBook. I mean, granted, it's through cloud gaming, so you can probably put an asterisk on that, but nonetheless, it's a fun thing to say. That feature is not here yet, but dang it, goals.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to what's wrong with it?
All right, where do we? Uh, so I feel like gaming was a good place to kind of like middle of the road it because on the one hand, I've had some good experience with Minecraft. The Xbox One I don't really count because that's probably more internet issues than it is the Mac on the MacBook. And of course, I can't run any game in my Steam library practically because, like you said, either 32-bit or it just straight up says no, you need a Windows machine for this. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that was a big give or take. I do want to try and go through Minecraft a little bit more just to see if I can find like any problems or if it runs smoothly like all the way through. So who knows? Maybe that'll also be a good opportunity to test out like how well I'm able to stream off the thing too. Because I've tested out the webcam a little bit. It is definitely
Oh,
shaky.
one
Oh,
issue with
yeah.
macOS, You need to have another program to route audio from the MacBook into a program like OBS.
Oh,
OBS cannot capture audio directly.
that is good to know. Thank you for letting me know that. Actually, thank you for letting me know this now because if I had like set this up like the night before, I'd probably be losing my mind trying to figure out like why can't I get audio
Yeah.
into the
I
thing?
I just realized that while you're saying that, I'm like, he probably doesn't know this.
He doesn't know. But yeah, that's good to know. I'll definitely look into seeing like uh possible alternative ways to get around that. And maybe I might just video capture off the Toblerone and maybe like stream off the one. Anyway,
I think it was
we'll
like
figure that
I
one
I
out.
remember like some sort of application called Soundflower.
Soundflower
I don't remember if that was like the best one, but whatever.
is an option.
Was
It's
it
got
black
five
and
out of 10 stars.
oh yeah, and Black Hole Audio, I think.
Black hole audio. Yeah, black hole audio.
Those are the two that I remember.
Up, it's on GitHub. Yeah, it's a modern macOS virtual audio driver that allows applications to pass audio to other applications with zero additional latency.
Yeah. So yeah,
So I automatically,
you're gonna need a program like that.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna try this black hole audio one. I don't know.
Real
I like
question
any projects
is,
that I find off GitHub.
the real question is, are they M1 optimized?
That is a very good question. Oh, that's a frequently asked question. Is there? Uh, it says nothing about it, so possibly not. Well, I guess we'll cross that
Well,
bridge.
the latest release was 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a good
Oh,
chance. Oh,
oh. You know what? I'll let you figure this out by yourself.
all right.
You're gonna have a
audio.
problem installing this. I can tell you this for sure.
Uh,
Is because I like, oh, it has a GPL license. Oh, that means
oh,
that this thing probably doesn't have enough money to pay Apple.
oh, that's gonna be
Meaning
a
that
fun
it
one
does
to deal
not
with.
have a certificate.
Oh, that can end well.
macOS does not like applications without a certificate.
Oh, oh, oh boy. uh, well, that
You know what?
is.
I'll just tell you, in order to do these programs, it's you just need to right click on it and then you need to press open.
Oh,
But the issue is that you need to know that trick because it doesn't tell you how to do that trick.
you need to just explicitly know. Right click open.
Because actually in the instructions it just says that you can't open it.
Oh, just straight up like once you download it, it just says like, oh, sorry, you
Well, you need
can't.
to double click the package if it's a package
Oh yeah,
installer or if it's a regular application. It says that you can't open it.
oh yeah.
It doesn't tell you that there's a way to open it. It just says that you can't open it.
No,
And the
business
reason why it can't be open
because no certificate.
is not signed.
It's not authentic enough.
It's not signed by Apple.
Yeah,
Well, maybe Black Hole is a big enough project that they actually do get signatures from Apple, but
possibly. Well, only one way to find out.
the
So look
only
forward
open
to that.
source project I've ran into so far that has signatures is OBS and Audacity.
Yeah,
But those are ginormous projects.
that is true. It'd be almost a crime to not let things like OBS Audacity have certificates at that point.
Yeah.
But But yeah, I guess on the same line of downloading stuff onto the computer or onto the MacBook, the more I think about it, it's less uh this is the stuff I dislike about. This is more of the this is the things that um I had no idea was a thing until I got here, and I'm probably doing it wrong, but I found a way to make it work.
Okay, I'll
So
listen to them and
download.
tell you, no,
No.
that's how it's done. Don't worry about it, Jared.
Yeah. All right. So let's start simple. Let's talk about downloading programs onto this thing.
Okay.
So there are a couple of programs where I'm able to like download and it practically runs an installer and gets everything cleaned up for you. Weirdly enough, the big ones that I can remember that have done this are all Microsoft products.
Oh, it's because
Like,
Microsoft does macOS wrong.
no, yeah. So yeah, so yeah, that I found that actually, yeah, that something makes a lot of sense because well, they're probably still running off of Windows logic anyway, because it has a very similar feel installing that way. But for every other program that I've needed to install, basically it installs it, and then on the desktop it has. I'm assuming that's
Yep.
the package that we've been referring to earlier,
Yep.
um, and essentially most of them when you like open it. I'm assuming all the ones since all my information they already have the certificate and everything. It pretty much just gives you like an image or something that tells you, hey, you take this icon and you chuck it into your applications folder.
Oh, actually, the problem that I have when there's no certificate is you could get that far. But you know how, like, when you actually double click the application, it says, you download this from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if it's not signed, it doesn't give you the open option. It just says that you can't open it because it's not signed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's good to know. So it's not gonna tell me like it's not gonna give me that brief warning of like this is from the internet. It could be not safe. It's just telling you like straight up like no, you can't open this. You're not allowed. This isn't allowed. This is illegal. Anyway,
Pretty much.
but so I when it gives that little like nice little option to say like oh take this icon, take this application, chuck into applications folder. I'm like okay, I took that very, very literally. I went into Finder.
Oh, you
I
poor
got
soul.
into the application folder and dropped it in that way.
So how did
Of
you
course.
figure out that the application folder is an actual folder?
So, well, of course, I've tried this with like multiple times because I I I I I do fall into the idea of like if at first you don't succeed, do the exact same thing like 5 times, and maybe one of them will work. But eventually it's just like the way this isn't the way it's supposed to work. What I don't remember how I got to where it was, but eventually what I did was I got it to like click and drag the package, and I guess there's a certain spot on like the dock itself, like if you put it like right next to like the downloads and stuff like that, it drops it in, but it creates like that pseudo application folder.
Well, how did you find the right way to do this? Oh, you still didn't figure out
I
the right way to do
I still
this?
haven't found out the right way to do this. That's
You know,
I've only been able to do it like pseudo
you know
doc
that
way.
the application folder next to it is an actual folder that links to your application folder. You can drag that into the picture of the application folder inside of the thing.
Wait. So wait, the picture itself
Is a
is an
folder.
actual
Yes,
legitimate
it's the
folder.
actual
Oh,
folder.
Well,
That's
shoot.
that, like this entire time. I'm like, okay, it sounds like he figured it out. He has another method that he's using now.
Oh no! I went the long way around using the actual like dock bar itself to create an application folder to chuck it in.
So
But
if you
yeah,
notice, if you double click on the application folder, it'll actually open up your application folder.
huh? I I will be 100% honest with you. I thought it was just an
No,
image.
it's not.
I
It's a
thought they
link to
literally
your
just the thing inside of it is legitimate. Anyway,
link to your application folder. So you could just drag and
so
drop it
it's the
onto
literal
that folder.
picture itself is also like the two tools you
Yep.
actually
So you
need
literally the arrow, you literally drag the arrow
and drop. Oh, you
into
drag the arrow itself
no,
into
not the
the
like OBS
application.
Studio. Yes.
Oh, yeah, and then you just follow the thing, and it
Drop it into the folder.
that makes a lot of, that makes a lot of sense. Huh. I legitimately just thought it was an
Doesn't
instruction
it
manual.
say
Like,
didn't it say like drag the
oh, some of them don't. Some of them just show the
oh.
picture of the application and the folder, and just.
I know
I
that
think
some of
some
them
of them
actually
did
say
say.
drag with the arrow that kind of points to it. You
I
didn't
think
realize that the folder was clickable, did you?
not at all. I think though, I think I literally just took that as just more explanation as to which folder I need to drag this thing into. I didn't think that icon and that folder were accessible, were like actual like interactable things.
Yeah,
So
they're both
you know,
interactable.
so yeah,
Okay, well,
good to know.
you've gone through your first hurdle. What's your next issue?
Yeah. Oh man.
This has turned more entertaining than I thought this was gonna be.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's so much easier. uh I'm actually almost kind of surprised I was actually able to even find a way to like get applications to install
I'm
into the thing.
surprised that you figured that one out like that.
That was a weird workaround, but hey, there's an easier right way to do it, so I'm definitely gonna do it that way now. Uh oh, one of the one so I can't tell if it's just like because I'm transferring a lot of files, or if this is just like the default way to do like a default way it sets it, or if I'm getting what I wish for in forms of like full off the grid customizability, and now I'm witnessing the pure chaos because of it. But what I found interesting the first time around going through like drag and dropping things from I don't want to drag and drop like all of my videos from one folder into another.
Yeah.
um so of course it starts out with was it like pictured icons so you can kind of see like all the different videos and stuff like that. And actually on that note, what I find very interesting is that you can actually click the play button on top of it, and it actually plays like the little like right above it shows like the
Have you
like a
figured
super
out what
like
the space bar
one by
does
one
yet?
pixel. My assumption currently is play. No.
Kind of. So if it's like a document or a video or whatever, if it's a document, it'll pop up a, a quick view of it, so you could kind of just like scroll through it and see what it is, and then you could press like the next arrow key to go to the next file and kind of look through
Oh,
it.
okay,
If it's
okay.
a video, it'll show a big picture, a big version of the video, and then you could kind of like tab through it.
I'll like
Well,
tap through, like scroll and then check it out, or
yeah.
yeah, just preview it.
The
That's
space
good to
bar.
know.
You just click something and press the space bar. You'll figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah. That sounds like a
So
lot
your
of fun. I
drag and
got just
dropping is slow.
uh I mean, the drag and dropping, like the actual like transfer itself was like practically like instantaneous. So
Yeah,
that part I have absolutely no qualms with. What happened initially was, well, one thing that I wasn't used to is when I like have like say like 400 videos like
yeah,
selected, when I like click it out of the window. Um, it's cool that it does it, but I was a little bit jarred first and foremost that they kind of like I guess like animation wise it expands everything to a list, but now it's like a long list of 400 things that expand across the universe. So um that I found a little bit jarring, but
yeah.
it's
That's
ultimately
that's
fine.
normal.
And then of course I chuck it into the new folder, and I'm kind of expecting, on this like grid pictured view, that when I drop it, it's just gonna neatly organize everything into like a
Oh yeah,
grid
it doesn't do that.
pattern. Yeah, no. Wherever I drop it, that's what it populates. And I'm
But
just sitting here
that's
like,
what you
well,
need sorting options for.
I know I've turned on sorting options, so obviously the problem is no longer a thing. But the first time I saw it, I just got super thrown off. So I'm like, wait a minute, I have videos lying on top of other videos.
And this
Why
is the
am I
reason
with?
why I don't
Why
use
am I
the icon views. I use the what's it called again?
use was
The
that
list
column
view.
grid? Yeah, list view. I
Yeah.
can see that. I will probably stick with list view from now on
I
because
I use
that
list view.
that that threw me for a loop so hard the first time. I have never witnessed pure chaos in my folder until this moment. That is practically taking this like mess next to me in my room and computerizing it into a folder.
Yeah.
Like it's like everything's there, but nothing makes like sense. So
That's a thing. But can I tell you a plus side to this?
was that?
You have tabs.
That is true. Tabs are a thing now. I got to open a tab. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I have extra tabs now. I admittedly have not personally found a use for having multiple tabs on the same window because I'm very big on, I guess like I guess I need to like visualize drag and dropping from one window to another. But I'm sure there will come a time where like multiple tabs will be a lifesaver for me, and I'm
That's
very
that's where
thankful
we
that's a
that's where we
thing.
differ because I'm a big proponent of Command X and Command
Command
V.
X, oh yeah, Command X and Command V.
It's because I
It
work
is
with
a
a
much
lot of network shares. So if I need to get something off of the network share, you know how it's traditional drag and drop actually just copies it.
oh yeah. So in order to skip that and start instead of skipping, I'm assuming having to like find a way to like move to or something. Just Command X, Command V.
Yeah, and if I want to copy, I just do Command C.
Whereas I guess most of my workflow right now is moving things from my downloads folder to my custom my labeled stream folder, and that one they're like, oh yeah, we'll just move it, get everything out of the downloads folder anyway. You don't want to keep it there. Things gonna get cluttered. So yeah.
Okay,
But yeah. Um,
that
is
is
there
that's
anything
that's
else?
just the thing.
It's just a thing. Um, I did find getting to my general users folder a little bit of a maze at first.
Just Finder and then Home.
I think so. I can't
I mean,
remember where.
that's not that much of a maze.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how like.
Now, getting to your actual hard drive, now that
No, yeah,
is a maze. It's because Apple doesn't want you to access your hard drive.
no, yeah. I think I almost tried to go that exact that the hard drive route in order to go to something simple like users, JMS, da 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 da, documents, movies, etc. etc.
Oh,
Because
have you experienced a Wonder of Spotlight yet?
Spotlight, I
An
don't
actual
believe I.
competent search system.
I have. Admittedly, I have not tried that one yet. I have
Just
not.
remember, command space is your best friend.
Command space. Ooh. All right, I'll give that a try
That
later on
brings up
too.
Spotlight. I use that as my application launcher most of the time.
Yeah,
And then if I need to find a document, I also use that.
command space.
It does
Yeah,
names, it does dates. You could ask it for the weather if you want to. You could put in math if you need to. So, like
okay.
1 + 5 or something like that, or,
Yeah, you do a quick calculation, like oh, we're gonna do. What is
like
it?
something simple enough that you don't want to bring up the calculator app. So it's like, one fast thing or.
Yeah, it's like oh, I have 2 hours to my name, and I know each edit takes or I know each battle, like if I want to do some battles, like each battle takes like 10 minutes, like I don't know how many, so like 12 minutes. Let's go a little bit more specific, so that way I have an excuse to actually use a calculator.
Yeah.
It's like how many how many matches can I do like efficiently if I really want to care.
So
But
literally would just be command space and then type in the equation and then that'll give you the answer.
yeah, well, that's good to know. I might actually use it more. Yeah, I'm probably gonna follow in the at least the application launcher
I'm
route.
pretty
Probably, if
sure
anything.
that it also does dictionary
That come in handy
terms.
for for those times where I need to recall the definition of like defenestration or something. And
So
I can bust out Spotlight and it can tell me like, oh yeah, it's right. It's the act of throwing someone or something out the window. So you know, that's that's good to know.
yeah, I
I gotta try.
I do it for application launching and I use it for application switching a lot too.
I can
Because
see that.
when you act when because when I use a lot of applications and I have a lot of them open, I'm like, okay, I'm never finding this application. Just
Spotlight search it is. Actually, that might come in handy if I need to find a particular like stream photo or something. Well, definitely if I need to find. Well, I'm assuming I will need to. I'm probably not gonna keep too much on the computer. I want to try and keep it as clean as I possibly can. But in the event that I get lazy and streams just start piling onto the thing, probably use it to find it by name. That'd be
so
that'd
yeah,
be good.
Spotlight will
Find
be
the
your
photos.
best friend. I know that.
Yeah.
It's mine. It's my best friend too.
Yeah. Command
Competent
space.
search.
Was it?
Competent search is important.
Oh yeah.
Something that Microsoft somehow has yet to figure out. And they have a search engine too. It's called Bing. But maybe that might be what's holding them back.
So yeah, I feel like that further drives the point of confidence search is still something that they need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't remember if there's anything else about the MacBook Pro that I've had. I think that's pretty much. I think that pretty much sums up my entire experience so far with the MacBook Pro.
Okay, so my question is, how would you convince a good friend of ours to go to a Mac if he's a die-hard Windows fan and eats Microsoft's muffins for breakfast and calls rain? It says that rain and drizzle are not the same thing. What?
That's a whole other can of worms. That um, for those of you who are listening to this in the future, if you want to chip in on the rain of is rain the same thing as drizzle? Is there a major difference between
Okay,
the two?
is drizzle rain? That was a real question.
Is drizzle rain? Leave your answers. Uh, was it? Yes, in the comments below on the YouTube video. You can also tweet us your responses over on Twitter at TechNet Show. Um, I DM us, I guess, on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know if a picture, like a full on like picture or a story, is worth dedicating to is drizzle rain. But I mean, if you want to, it's That's up to you. The question is up there. Have fun. Maybe we'll revisit it if we get enough responses to that one. But if I have, mm, all right. How does one convince a die-hard Windows fan?
Oh, and someone that
Well,
also held on to a Windows phone until it died.
I mind
Microsoft gave
you,
up on it
yes,
before he.
Microsoft gave up before he did, and you know what? Actually, if we're going to include that, if we're going to include that point. I think there's technically no way for me to actually convince him into getting into actually switching over to Mac.
But he's on an
Um,
Android now, so
yeah,
the Microsoft grasp has been weakened slightly.
my relationship with Microsoft is over. Google is my best friend. Gonna come in with like 5 different like Chromebooks or something later. Anyway, cloud gaming is the future. Okay, moving on.
Media.
Uh, Nvidia. uh, yeah. I don't know if I have any way to convince a a full on die-hard Windows fan to commit because
Okay,
um
so what is the best argument that you would have to get a Mac? Is basically what I'm asking.
uh if I had to give my general pitch from my own experience from using a Mac, of course there's a lot more that I need to first and foremost there's from this conversation alone, I am more than confident in admitting that there's a lot more that I need to learn about macOS, including the fact that pictures actually have interactions in them in the form for downloading applications, and that Spotlight Search is a thing. So um, that could probably help a lot in the arguments in the future. But for now, what I will say is ultimately, especially for this MacBook Pro, um, yeah, if you're sorry, I got a notification. Yeah, I would say, yeah, if you need something, yeah, if you need something, small, small and compact with a lot of power to it, prac- really good screen to it, and what was it uh, at a relatively good price for what it's worth. Um, I will say, like, granted, the Dream Machine is not the best machine to compare, but ultimately my main goal was getting whatever I can do on this machine, except for gaming, uh, whatever I can do productivity wise on this machine, I want on something that I can take with me wherever, something that can dish out the power, but also having a battery life that I know is going to last me at least for the few hours that I'm able to remain attentive to my work. And I, I am, I am was it? I am fully on board with the idea that the MacBook has checked off all of those boxes that I need for that. Um, yeah, I'm sure there's many a Windows machine that has many a Windows apps that has power for days, but it's hard pressed to find anything that matches up to this form factor, and for that matter, that matches this form factor and has a battery life that'll like maintain itself without having to like hang out at the nearest plug at your local Starbucks when it opens. So
Well, so that leads into my next question. What why would you get a Windows laptop other than gaming?
why would you get a Windows laptop other than gaming?
Is there a reason? Other
Um,
than gaming and other than well, I just want Windows. You know,
eh,
just the plain out like there's no logic behind it. They
All
just
right.
want Windows.
Yeah. In terms of general like performance wise, I can't really think of like too much reason. The only real thing I can think of is um I know it's relatively close to the answer of like I just want Windows, but for those who you know need a computer with good amount of power, but is also like like fully like they're fully like they're just fully invested in like full knowledge of like Windows and like the ways to like shortcut their workflow pretty much is like built to a T on like how like Windows like does things. I feel like um in kind of that vein of like this machine is powerful and it's already using like an operating system and shortcuts that I'm like been familiar with since the day I was like born kind of thing. Like like uh you still get that power and you get that familiar setting without having to like relearn a whole new like operating system kind of thing. That's kind of like the only thing that I would say is my closest argument for
That's the
getting a
thing. You
Windows.
don't get the power and the portability of a MacBook in any other laptop.
Hmm.
You don't get both. You get one or the other.
No, yeah, no, yeah, that's true.
Like the
Very
Razer
hard
Blade,
pressed.
it's beautiful. Just it has a form factor. It's portable, but it doesn't have the power.
Hmm.
And then you have like these ginormous gaming laptops that it can outperform,
It has power for days, but it also
but
feels like it has. It also eats power for days, for that matter.
yeah. And both of them don't have the battery life.
That is true.
So you have three major pillars that just aren't living up to it.
No, yeah, no, yeah. I
I mean, you could
guess.
get comparable screens on, well, any of them, so that's not really a win.
No, yeah. True. Screens have gotten so much better since the last time I've owned a laptop all the way back in ye old like 2013.
Yeah, they
So
have.
uh but yeah. I guess if you're looking for something with that particular power in that particular compact format in that particular like power efficiency, then you don't really have any uh, there's not really much of an argument besides or you're just Uh, besides the fact that like, oh, this is like I don't have the time to learn to learn Mac OS. But um, I guess the only other thing too is that if like um, was it if like you really don't if we're talking about like Windows laptops like in general, I feel like if you really don't need that kind of like that kind of power and like that the MacBook offers, and you just need something relatively simple, you can uh you can get yourself a Chromebook or
Yeah,
probably if you're like primarily web based, but also yeah, if you're for one reason or another you just don't want to deal with Chrome OS for Chrome OS or something, then yeah, I mean there's um there's a good variety of Windows machines and a good variety that's a lot cheaper. It's definitely nowhere near the same power or um, quality as the MacBook, but
yeah. Well, I mean, if we're
if
talking
it's
cheap, we would be talking about the MacBook Air with the M1. How much does that cost again?
I think
I think it's just like
that's
a
just under a
thousand.
thousand. I think
Yeah.
it's like
I mean,
999.
yes, it is more. It's about double the price. But at the same time, you don't actually know. I'd say that it's more comparable to like a $700 laptop, Windows side, because to me, when getting a laptop, SSDs are a requirement. I
No,
don't care
yeah,
about what anyone else says. spinning rust is don't touch it. Just don't touch it. I don't care how cheap it is. Don't. Just don't.
Yeah.
And the
SSDs,
unfortunate
man.
reality of Windows is that you need 8 gigabytes of RAM these days. Windows
That
is
is true.
just RAM hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 will get you absolutely nowhere. 8 or higher, friend.
So at that point, you're already looking at about a $700, $800 laptop. So does the price argument for a decent computing experience really help you out there?
See, it still vary from person to person. If I had to be completely honest with you. I know, what was it? Because yeah, it also depends on like what you really like need it for, I guess.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, it's like, oh yeah, you're getting like much more performance for like $200 more, but at the same time, for some, and I mainly for myself too, it's like $200 is still $200. Like for myself and my current wage, that's like half of my week is like dedicated to like
That's
that amount
true.
of money. So it's like, so I won't. I'm not gonna argue like against like the idea that you're definitely getting much more bang for your buck if you went with the MacBook Air rather than your mid tier like $600 $700 like Windows machine. But I guess it ultimately depends on like um you are getting the more power, more efficiency, but are you really going to use said power and
You
efficiency? And
also you also get better build quality, a really good screen, and quite frankly, the MacBook's gonna last you longer
hmm, that is
because it
true.
has
There
that
is like
extra power to begin with. That means that it's gonna be stay relevant for a longer period of time.
yeah,
I mean, power you don't use today is power you're definitely using tomorrow.
that's true. I can't argue against that. You're definitely getting much more in terms of like the long term investment when it comes to like getting yourself like a MacBook Air and stuff like that. But
It's weird because I usually use that argument for iPhones. Never thought I'd
yeah,
ever use that argument for a Mac.
yeah. One thing that that's definitely one thing that I definitely do appreciate that if there's anything that they're bringing into their into more and more of their devices is like general like longevity of it. It's
Yeah.
nice to see. Was it helps save you in the long run, and also helps make sure that you know was it less like tech waste and stuff like that,
Yeah.
e-waste.
It
So that's
saves you in
that's
the
always
long
good.
run and it gives you the best experience today.
Mm.
But yeah, you're right. If you really can't spend the extra $200, I would never recommend not spending the extra $200 though.
Yeah, but yeah, ultimately I guess it's just I guess it's less of, I feel like it's ultimately like come down to less of like convincing someone, because I feel like we've fully solidified like if you are like debating on between a $600 Windows machine and a 900 MacBook Air and you have the money to do it, I'll go with the $900,000 MacBook Air. We've pretty much solidified that, but ultimately, I guess uh ultimately boils down to that some people like purchase Windows machines because it's good for it's their best option for their particular scenario.
That's true.
And um whether it's hard to get that extra 200 for that MacBook at that particular moment, or um I also argue like there's probably some who remain in their habitual ways and will refuse to like try and learn another operating system,
Yeah, I know that there's
or
people
even
like that.
or
I've
we can
I,
even boil
I
it down to yeah,
we've met one.
yeah. And or probably in the same camp, but probably it's just people who just like diehard Windows. I just love Windows. I love Candy Crush. I don't know.
So glad that Candy Crush is not in Windows 11.
Yeah,
Pre-installed. Pre-installed.
pre-installed.
It's still
It's an
there in the
option.
store.
Forever watching. Forever. But yeah, yeah. I guess ultimately case by case. But if you have them, if you're in debate and you have the money to spare, the MacBook line is a really solid option to go with.
With that, this has been a long episode, so I think we should end it here.
This has been fun.
It's
I
been
am
good.
going to download a random application now to have fun with clicking
The
and
drag and
dragging in
drop?
the image now. Yes, I'm gonna play with that interactive drag and drop now.
Yeah.
Maybe test out some Minecraft too, and
Okay.
figure out
Well,
audio on the streaming.
I hope that you all enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow us if you're on Twitch.
And
And
don't
yeah,
forget to let us know. Rain and drizzle.
yeah, that too. Well, thanks for watching. Bye for now.
See you.